One of the hardest decisions I have as a reader is picking what book to read next. My TBR is huge, and sometimes I can literally just sit there in decision paralysis. The other problem I'm having is making my cats want to love and cuddle me, but they do love to come running for treats. So I will be putting options out for my cats. Each book will have a treat on them. Whatever treat/book they go to first will be the book that I read next. Hopefully, by the end of this, I'll have read some good books, and my cats will want to love and cuddle me even more. For our first two picks for my cats, I actually don't own either of them, so I'm going to use some sticky notes. We're going to put Metal Slinger, which I've heard very, very good things about. I think that this has been all over everywhere with hype. The first person I saw read it was Emmy Rossum, who is a YouTuber and a TikToker, and I also follow her on Instagram. I really like her content. She was obsessed, and she said that this was the first ending in a long time for a fantasy romance book that has literally left her shooketh. And so I was like, hey, I need that. I need that. So that's gonna be my first option. And my second option is gonna be Order of Scorpions, which is a standalone Why Choose fantasy romance that there's a special edition of coming out soon, and so I want to read it to see if I want that special edition since I have now entered my Why Choose era. And so those are gonna be my first two books. We're gonna put Order of Scorpions on Black Sheep and Metal Slinger on So Thirsty. Let's see what the cats pick for me. Order of Scorpions wins. We have eggnog again in Canada. It could just be out for Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is this weekend because it's a little early for it. But it means I'm drinking eggnog in my coffee every day. Eggnog and coffee is like the best thing ever. If you have not tried it, please do. It's delicious. What is your favorite holiday drink? Am I thinking about the holiday too early? It's because it's Thanksgiving, okay? I love fall, but like Thanksgiving just reminds me of Christmas for some reason. But our Thanksgiving is a lot earlier than States Thanksgiving, so like it shouldn't. I don't know. But what is your favorite holiday drink? Mine is an eggnog latte. I started Order of the Scorpions last night, and I got 2 chapters in and I've decided to DNF it. I am in my DNF era currently. That is officially what I'm calling this. I don't know if it's just because I'm not in the right mental headspace for what this book is, or if I'm just not gonna like the book and vibe with it no matter where I'm at. The first chapter is very dark. There are trigger warnings. The author explicitly says that this is a dark story at the start and it gets lighter as it goes. I was not in the headspace to enjoy the first chapter. We have an orc doing non-consensual things to her, but it's not sex. It would still be traumatic in my opinion. She's in prison and it's dark and she's not being treated very well, and I just know that this book is going to be a little bit darker than I want at this moment in time. I'm looking for a little bit more fun escapism currently in my reads. On top of the fact that this has an amnesia trope in it, which is something I typically don't love in the first place. I find it very hard to understand characters when they don't understand themselves because they don't really remember who they are, and it leads to a lot of plot conveniences in my opinion because they just randomly remember something when they need it and don't remember other things when that would come in very handy. I don't know, I don't love the amnesia trope. So that, on top of the fact that I just feel like I'm not in a headspace for the darkness of the story, I've gone ahead and I've DNF'd it. Maybe I'll come back to it one day, but I won't be getting the special edition. I don't think I'm going to love this story. Knowing it was amnesia was honestly a big turnoff for me. On to hopefully better things. I am going to keep Metal Slinger in our next pick. I really just want to win right now, and I feel like this could be a win. Like, I'm craving a good book. I feel like I've had a lot of mediocre books because I'm in a book hangover still, but I'm hoping this can get me out of it. Our next pick is going to be Thief of Silver and Souls. This is another Why Choose fantasy romance. When I put a story up on Instagram asking for like Why Choose recommendations, Eva Chase came up again and again and again. I actually went ahead and read the first chapter of this pick before I put it on this book to make sure it was something that I thought I would enjoy and that I liked the writing style and that I was in a good headspace for it. And I liked that first chapter quite a bit. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm rooting for this one. But also, if this doesn't win, it's probably gonna go in again because I want to read Metal Slinger so badly. What the kitty cats picked for me, and I'll be back to you with my first thoughts of whatever book was chosen. There is not a TikTok trend that I won't try. So we are doing the Dua Lipa Coke trend, and I'm absolutely terrified. Okay, first ingredient, Coca-Cola. Second ingredient, some pickles. Oh god, they don't even want to go in the Coke. Pickle juice. And jalapeno juice. I think we're gonna throw a couple jalapenos in here too for added effect. I'm just gonna top it with some more Coke. I'm scared. Oh, it doesn't smell good. It tastes exactly how you would expect. Not good. Why would someone drink that? Willingly.
Can you smell it?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Oh, I can smell that. It smells like I can't. It smells like it's just straight up pickles. How much did you put in there?
Just a splash. I'm covered with Casti and I don't approve of this TikTok trend. I am just about to take my makeup off. My sister just left. We had Thanksgiving dinner tonight. Thanksgiving in Canada is like a month earlier than United States Thanksgiving, which is funny to me, but I think it has to do with the harvest, but I'm not 100% sure because like last night it froze for us. Like really badly. I'm not really a big Thanksgiving dinner fan. It's not really my like go-to dinner. But the next day we have like a tradition where my dad always makes turkey noodle soup and I love soup. I am a soup girly through and through. And so like that's always been my favorite thing is the soup the next day. And he makes it like from scratch and it's really delicious. So good and I'm so excited for it tomorrow. And my favorite part of Thanksgiving dinner is like the butter buns. Like the dinner rolls. So good. But we did do some cleaning and some running around and I did manage to read a little bit today. I'm currently at 81 pages into Thief of Silver and Souls and this is feeling, I think, I'm gonna jinx myself. I think this is feeling like a 5-star. However, we haven't gotten into any romance yet. I think we've met all the men in one scene, but the romance hasn't started yet. But the plot and the world building so far I've really, really liked. In this world, some people are born with magic, but when you use your magic, whatever you ask for, a price has to be paid. And so when people are born with the magic, that price is paid in other people. So if you ask for wealth, someone else is going to have their wealth taken away and be poor, which I thought was super cool. And then on top of that, you can ask different gods or deities for a gift of some sort. But in order to get a gift, you have to give something in return. So gods will ask for things. A lot of people cut off fingers. There's one person we've met without an eyeball. The god like took their sight to get a gift. They'll take like your beauty by like scarring you somewhere or things like that. Like you always have to give something to get something. And I love that type of magic system. I think that's super, super cool. I'm not really sure. I guess I said the plot was cool, but like I'm not entirely sure what's happening. Essentially, our main character is born with magic. She's trying to hide that and she's trying not to use it, but she's trying to like give to people when she uses it. So she like steals silver from people to like give to other people. Like she's kind of like a vigilante, like your neighborhood Robin Hood. When she stumbles across a dead body that has been murdered, and it turns out a soul ends up within her, talking to her in her head, which I love a voice in her head trope. And the soul says, I have been murdered because I know that there is a plot against the prince and they murdered me so that I could not prove this point or figure out what exactly was happening. She's in our main character's head convincing her that she has to figure out who murdered her, what happened, and stop this plot against the prince. Which leads us to her companions. The girl in her head, the one that's been murdered, has like companions that have been working with her to find out what's going on. Those are the men I talked about. All I know so far is that they're very, very handsome and I liked their behaviors in that like first chapter I got of them. I'm very excited to see which ones I lean towards and like rank them. I literally texted Claire that she needed to read it. I was like, this is a good book. Like, I'm vibing. And she was like, okay, where you at? I love a tier ranking buddy read with Claire. The cat's got the zoomies. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna take my makeup off. I'm gonna go curl up in bed and I'm gonna continue reading for the night. I'm having pumpkin pie for breakfast today, but I did make it 50% into Thief of Silver and Souls. I stayed up reading. I'm really enjoying this, but there's been no romance so far. I'm 50% in and we've had no romance, which is interesting because like when I heard about this, thought it was going to be a little more paranormal leaning, a little bit more like, cringy is not the right word because I don't think it's cringy, but like, you know, just this like guilty pleasure style writing style. This is such a complex world. I am loving it. Like it reads like a fantasy. I'm excited to get to the romance. We've seen like tidbits of her like having attraction for the men. It feels like kind of slow burn and I'm really loving it. I think that this is going to be a 5-star read for me. Like, I'm very into the world building. It's definitely a slow setup. And I love the murder mystery element. Like, I'm intrigued to know what's happening. I do wish it was a little bit faster paced than it is, but also I'm reading it so quickly that I don't think I really care. Anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping. I will yap about books forever. And I'm gonna eat my pumpkin pie that is really whipped cream with a side of pumpkin pie because I love whipped cream and I don't get it very often. Oh, this is so good. I love this. This might be my favorite part of Thanksgiving. Why are you laying like this? Listen, I have something to tell you. I desperately need you to listen to this, okay? Are you listening? Look at me. Look at me while I talk to you, okay? I desperately need you to pick the sequel of this book, okay? She doesn't look like she wants to, but I desperately need her to. I finished Thief of Silver and Souls and I had a great time with the story. I would like to say I would not call it a romantasy. It is very romance light. There are 2 smut scenes in it, like 2 spicier scenes. But for the most part, this reminded me of like a YA series, something like The Heir Awakens, where there's like a really good amount of plot to it. This has a murder mystery and a level of intrigue, and that's something I really enjoy in my books. There's also like politics at play of like the nobles and stuff. It's set in a school setting. We're going to a college of nobles, and they're learning not only their powers, but like they're hoping to advance their placement in the world of where they want to be, like whose realm they want to enhance, or like what skill they're doing, I guess. Like some of them are training to be more in the army. I will say the school setting is very, very minimal. There's no like teaching. There's no classes that we go to. Our main character actually isn't even a student. She's like professor's assistant. She's really there for fake reasons. She's there to figure out the murder mystery, so we don't really see her involved in classes at all. But I did like the setting happening on a college campus. There was a lot of like college mean girls, things like that. And I was just like completely intrigued and swept away by the intense world building of this. I thought it was so impressive. It was not what I was expecting at all, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was a really fun time. And I do know that it is a why choose, and I see the elements of the romance are going to get stronger and come to play. But this first book, it's a fantasy book. There's plot, not a lot of romance, and it worked for me. But if you're looking for like romance heavy, I wouldn't. But if you're looking to dabble into a why choose, if I get to read the second book, I'll let you know if I think that this is a good one, just because I think maybe having this slow, like more plot heavy first book could really help you. As I told Miley, I'm desperately hoping she'll let me read the sequel. I love binge reading a series, and I'm feeling that vibe right now. So that is definitely one of my picks. I'm not sure what the second one is going to be yet. I feel like just throwing in Metal Singer again is kind of boring. I feel like I need to swap it up and throw some other book in there. Let me look on KU to see if there's anything that like is really catching my eye. I do have an arc of The Serpent and the Wolf, so I could read that one. I've been seeing Anathema, The Eating Woods everywhere lately, so I could put that one in. I do have an arc of The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, so I also could put that one in. I've also wanted to try Eliza Rain for a while, but I'm kind of scared of her. Okay, well, I'll let the cats pick. I'll figure it out, and then whatever wins, like I'll show you what I put down, and we'll move on to the next book. Please, Miley, please. Hello, I have made it 23-ish% into Anathema. That's about 170 pages. I have made a pretty good dent. This is a long book, and I have to say I'm really enjoying it. This is a very, very atmospheric read. It is a gothic fantasy that's going to be a duology, and it definitely has some really dark elements to it. Oh my god, I poked myself in the eye before filming this, and my eyeball is bothering me now. We're following our main character who lives in this village. It's definitely a historic time in this village, and they believe that the forest is eating people, essentially. There's some dark entity within the forest that if you cross the forest line, you will end up a pile of bones. And our main character as a baby was left right outside the like gate to this forest, and so even though a family takes her in as like one of their own, the rest of the village believes that she is cursed. She is of the dark magic that is in the forest, and she's kind of like an outcast, and in this world they murder people who they think are witches or different than them or don't believe the same things as them, and so she struggles her whole life to be just seen as one of them so that they don't send her into this forest to die. We haven't seen a lot happen happen. We do also get his POV, and the prologue specifically has me really intrigued about what's going on with him, but I don't want to spoil that too much because I feel like it's really interesting to figure it out on your own. The prologue itself was one of the best chapters I've read in a really long time. It really piqued my interest. This book is taking a little bit too long to get where it needs to be, in my opinion, but other than that, I'm really loving it. And the author's writing is impeccable. It's so beautifully written. There are so many really good quotes. Like, the quotes are quoting in this. The vibes are vibing. Like, it is very atmospheric. It's very gothic. But if you don't love the, like, more Regency tone of a village, you might not like this. Like, right now we're watching her be sold off and what that means for her future, because men suck. And women are essentially just something you own in this world. Like, unmarried women can't have property, they can't live their lives. Like, women are to be married off and sold, like, they get money, things like that. She definitely doesn't have the best life. There are some really intriguing things happening within her household, though. There's, like, a scene I just saw that was, like, really dark and brutal, but, like, I was so invested into, like, what was going on to get there, and, like, I'm really liking this, but I do think it's a little bit slow. I want the pace to pick up. Where I just left off, our main characters have finally met each other, so I'm hoping from there we're gonna start seeing more action. I guess not action, but like a faster pace to this story, because I'm excited. But the author does have an author's note at the beginning saying, like, this is a slow burn, like a slow burn, which has me excited. But like, for some of you who don't like slow burn, I would maybe not pick this one up, but like, if you do, I'm vibing so hard. Listen, I will eat pie for breakfast until there's no longer pie in my house. It just so happens that my dad wanted more pie and bought another pie. I love pumpkin pie. Do you like pumpkin pie? I feel like pumpkin pie is decisive. People love it or they don't like it. I also have an eggnog latte to wash down my pumpkin pie. So good. I did, however, finish Anathema. I still don't know how to say it. And I have very, very mixed feelings on this one. The parts I enjoyed about this book, I really, really enjoyed. And that is most of the book. Honestly, I can't say there's a part that I didn't like, but this book felt far too long. Like, far too long. It comes in at just under 700 pages, and whew, that was a lot. I think the first half took me the most to get through. The first half of the book, I kept stopping and I had to like tell myself to pick it back up. I enjoyed it while I read it, but like, it was really easy to just get distracted and do other things. We are more in the human world for that, and I think that's part of the issue. And I think that part specifically could have been niched down. I think it's meant to make you care about where she came from and the people that she had met, or like know her history a little bit. But I just think that we could have cut that down like 100 pages. It didn't need to be so long. The second half though, like part 2 and part 3, I loved. Part 2 was definitely my favorite. Part 3, like the ending itself wasn't okay. Well, I liked the very, very ending, but like the last 50 or so pages weren't my favorite. This was the time of the characters really coming together. I wouldn't say the romance in this is that slow burn, besides the fact that they don't really meet until halfway, but I really, really enjoyed the romance. I loved their chemistry together, their banter together. I loved the gothic house. I loved the found family aspects. His sister is one of my favorite characters. Also really intrigued if we get to meet more of the prince in the second book. This is a duology. I will be continuing. There's a special edition going on sale of this book, and I'm debating getting it. Like, I did really enjoy this. I just felt like it was too long, and that's a hard feeling to like figure out, because there were parts that like bored me at times, but overall I vibed with the book. And I would recommend it if you're looking for like a gothic setting. You have to be okay with a little bit more of like, I don't think Regency is the right term. Why can't I think right now? But like women being an object at the beginning. There is some dark elements to this story. There is trauma that they've both been through. He was abused, and I thought that was really well written, really well handled, and I really liked the elements of it. There are like, he is morally gray for sure. He is a villain in his own right, but like, I loved him with her. And his sweet side came out with the characters that were in his house that I really liked. There's a bit of an animal companion. There's a lot of things going on in this book, and I really enjoyed it. I really, really liked the world building. It looked like I'm naked. I'm wearing a one-shoulder top. Why does this side want to go down? Yeah, so I don't know. I have to sit on my thoughts a lot on this one because I did really enjoy it. I'm struggling a little bit today. I'm also struggling because we're rotating dinners now. My mom has just been struggling to like want to cook when she gets home, which is fair. Like, having to cook your entire life sucks. So right now we are picking days to cook, and I've been cooking on Wednesdays. Last week I did a really delicious soup. I kind of want to cook soup again. It's soup season. I love soup. So I'm thinking about cooking a soup, but I have no idea what. So I need to figure out what I'm cooking tonight. And for that, I think I want an audiobook. So we are switching gears a little bit, leaving a little bit of the romantic, and we're going to dive into some horror. I have 2 picks for the cats. Ghost Camera by Darcy Coates. Darcy is probably my favorite horror author. I love so much of what she does. This is a novella. My cat is dragging her toy upstairs so that I'll play with her. That's so cute. This is a novella about a girl who finds a camera, and when she takes pictures, she sees the dead moving in the pictures. There are a few short stories as well in this. And then the other one I'm going to be picking is Instance Around the House. I used another Darcy cover just because I tried to make them the same size so that one wasn't like treat was like higher than the other, being like, please pick me. Instance Around the House is everywhere right now. It's by Josh Malerman. I have read Bird Box. I enjoyed Bird Box. I'm hearing this is like one of the scariest horror books people are reading this year, and I'm intrigued. It's written from the perspective of a kid. That's kind of all I know, and I love the cover so much. I'm actually kind of hoping that the cats pick that one. That would be a win for me. I have not put the treats down yet, but Theo knows that books means treats, and he's just waiting. Look at him. Theo. Oh, my precious sweet boy. I need y'all to leave the construction zone. Hop on out. Evacuate. Or get distracted, that's fine. Miley! I can't help you. Miley, you're so close. Yes! Here you go, Theo. Theo! Good morning. I feel like I have so much to talk to you about today. Last night, I ended up making lasagna soup, which I was worried was going to be too similar to last week's tortellini ravioli soup, but honestly, they tasted completely different. I should have known because last week's had cream and stuff in it, and this week's didn't. It was pretty good. There are some changes I would make. I think I would add more spinach than it says too, and I think in the recipe I used, you like brown the meat and then you take the meat out and then you do the onions and the garlic. And last week's I just browned the meat and did the onion and the garlic together, and I think that added more flavor to the meat. So this time when I did this recipe, I wouldn't take the meat out. I would just like do it with the onion and the garlic. But that's pretty much my only changes. Like I really liked it. My mom really liked it. I have it for lunch today and I'm super excited. So I'll leave the recipe linked down below. It's also on my Instagram story highlights as well. Next week, I think I'm gonna make a gnocchi soup, so I'm excited for that one. There's a few on my list. There's a gnocchi soup, a red curry dumpling soup, and probably French onion soup at some point that I want to make. So every Wednesday is probably just gonna be soup day here. The other thing I want to talk to you about is the sweater, because it's absolutely adorable and cute. It is from Amazon. It's the same brand that the green one I wore in my recent haul is. I think I'm gonna be getting another one. I love this. This is my first time wearing it. It came in yesterday and it is so comfy and cute, and I'm vibing so hard with both of them. Maybe I'll link that down below as well. And then what we're actually here to talk about is the book. I made it 50% into Instance Around the House and I'm very much vibing with this one. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Why do my fingers look so big on this cup right now? This one, I'm gonna not tell you a lot about it because I feel like it's good to go into it just a little bit blind. We're essentially following our main character, who is a young girl. We're following a family of 3, her parents and then her. I think she's probably like 6, I don't know, 7? I feel like they said that she was going to kindergarten, but I'm not 100% certain. We're in her head, which I think adds to the creepy level of this because I think a kid seeing creepy things is extra creepy. We're following her as she has an imaginary friend called Other Mommy who lives in her closet and asks her a question every single night. I'm not gonna tell you what that question is. You're gonna have to read it to find out. I feel like this is giving me what Hidden Pictures was supposed to. This is the vibe I wanted from Hidden Pictures with like this creepy entity. I will say that I'm feeling very tense, but like for the characters. I think horror books do one of two things. Either they scare the reader, they make the reader feel disturbed in some sense, whether that's with gore or with like a tense, scary feeling, or the reader is scared for the characters. And in this one, I'm definitely scared for the characters. I don't feel scared, but I'm definitely invested into this character plotline, their storyline, and what's going to happen to them, and that makes me feel tense for them. And like, I can't imagine being this young girl going through what she's going through, how scary that would be, and having parents that like didn't really believe you, because like we all see imaginary friends all the time as kids, and like her parents are going through things and they have their own stuff. I really like that we're seeing a very layered story. The storyline of the parents and their relationship with their child I find very interesting. I am really enjoying this a lot, so I'm very excited that I picked it up. It's also such an easy binge, and I highly recommend the audiobook. I don't think I personally would be liking this as much without the audiobook. I don't think I would nail that little girl voice as well as the audiobook narrator does. She brings that character to life for me so much, and she's really good at like leading the story, like with her voice, making like the tense moments feel extra tense and things like that, and like getting the scare in the child's voice. My favorite scene so far has been a scene where like the child's laying in bed, she's like, don't come closer, don't come closer, don't come closer, don't come closer, and they compare it to counting sheep, and I was just like, I feel tense right now. Yeah, I'm vibing very hard. I'm gonna go record a very controversial video that may or may not be up before or after this video. I don't actually know what the timeline is, whether it's the video before this or the video after. And I'm also gonna go sing Domingo. I have Ariana Grande's SNL skit stuck in my head. The Domingo, the bridesmaid skit is so good. Like, Espresso's out, Domingo remix is in. It's so good. She killed that. I don't even watch SNL, but Ariana Grande killed all of her skits, but Domingo is my favorite. I just finished this book. And turns out, unexpectedly, Nick texted me, we're gonna go to Dark tonight, and he bought tickets, which is a haunted house that we're gonna walk through and things are gonna scare us. There's like 4 of them. It's actually really cool. We did it last year. But this was not the right time to read this book and then go to a haunted house then, because I'm kind of creeped out. And I will be looking in my closet for the next week before I go to bed. Or maybe I won't be looking in my closet, because do I want to know? Apparently, Josh Malerman shared a picture of what the other mother looks like, so I'm gonna see if I can find that. I'm just on his Instagram right now. Oh, that's disturbing. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. From the book, from the picture, from the haunted house, everything. I loved this. I'm giving it 4 stars. I think there's a middle issue in it where it gets a little repetitive in the middle, but I thought this was creepy. I thought it was well done. I thought it was a very layered story. I loved following not only the horror aspect, but also the family aspect going on. I don't have a lot to say. I find horror reviewing really hard to do, but I was unsettled this entire time, and that's what I want a book to give to me. Yes, the ending may have been a little bit predictable in my opinion, but how we got there, the journey to get there, constantly had me wanting to keep reading, and I was super engaged. Do not read this without the audiobook. I'm telling you, the audiobook is worth the splurge to get. The narrator is a 17-year-old girl, and she does the 8-year-old voice. I learned that she's 8 so well. It just adds to the creepiness and the intensity. I loved that this book was done by a little kid. I thought that that was a very unique kind of story element. Has it been done other times? Probably yes, but I personally have not read one, and I will be thinking about this book for a very long time. And so will Theo. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of b-roll from tonight's haunted house and potentially have the cats pick me one more book for this vlog. Right, Theo? My hair was in a ponytail and it looks like I got a blowout. Time to get ahead of me, and we are ending this vlog here with our last book pick. and I will be starting my next vlog right after this. Well, first I have to make the board, which requires some painting. So I'll see you next week with some Vampathon fun. If you'd love to continue watching my videos, I'll leave another vlog for you on the screen. And if you just want to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a cat emoji and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.